Hello everyone, welcome in this new video that will be dedicated to the Master Yi matchup. It's a deck that received a lot of support from Unleashed. It's also an easier deck to play, so a ton of people want to pick it up, and it's also very strong. It just won the Fuji Regional, and it had a decent placement at Sydney Regional, so you're definitely gonna see a ton of Master Yi around. So let's get into the Viktor Decklist that I updated. So for the Viktor Decklist, I'll just go over the changes that I made since the last decklist I showed. So I removed 2 honest brokers to go for full plundering poros. Since Kaisa has kind of disappeared from the map, the honest broker has way less value. And with plundering poro, if you start it, you can usually get 2 gold out of it, and it's very good. So they make more sense in this meta. I also removed the Shadow Call. I've been testing the card for a while. There is spots where the card feels really bad, it's just a dead card, and it doesn't do what you want it to do, especially when you're behind. This is where you will want the card draw, but sometimes it's just so clunky, it doesn't feel great. For now, I removed the Shadow Call, and I think I'm satisfied with the draw. Like, there's many occasions we're gonna run out of cards, but it's also the end of the game, so, you know, kinda makes sense. So I took away the Shadow Call to include a card sharp to get a bit more gold generation, since the deck is very power hungry. But I'm not very sold on it. I feel like that spot could be genuinely anything. At the moment it's a card sharp, since it's also an additional 3 drops, making our go second a little bit better. It also has 3 might, which is very good in this meta since it can go over like all the other 2 might units. And also I took away the 2 sprite burst because it's very weak into obviously the purple vex. And the card didn't feel that great. Like when I was testing before the release, the card felt fine, but right now I don't think it's that good of a card. Also a spell that can get abundant or hard bargain, it's not great. Instead of that, I added another Yordle, so we have the nice 3 Yordle, and also a salvage of course, because there is a lot of gear in the meta and you kinda need a salvage main. In terms of the sideboard, I removed the 2 safety inspector. The card got much worse since there is decks that play so many 2 drops now, so it's not as easy to get value out of him. And also remove Ash, because Ash is a bit expensive. I could see Ash maybe making a comeback, like the card should be really good into Azir, which is not necessarily a great matchup. But besides that, I don't think we care too much about the hand information, and if we go second, usually the guy can hold. Instead of that, I added a second Facebreaker, because Facebreaker I know is amazing. I really enjoy the card. I added 2 BF Swords, because it's good against Ezreal, it's good against Azir, it's good in the Victor Mirror of course, so there's a couple cases where the BF Sword is nice. And also Riptide Rex, like against Master Yi the card is fine, against red-purple decks that when I play the board, like it's okay as well. But the Riptide Rex could probably be anything, and maybe some of the BS4 as well. So I'm not 100% settled on the sideboard yet, since it's of course still early in the meta, but for now I think that they'll do fine, and if you want to cut the Riptide Rex to put anything else, then you're welcome to do so. For the battlefields, I cut Dust Rose Lab. I tested it a lot, and I didn't feel like I was getting enough value out of it. Like in some games I could get a couple draws out of it on the sprites or a token, but even so, like there's definitely games where you just don't draw a single card of it, and Rockfall Path has just a ton of value in this meta. It stops all of the ambush units, it stops the hidden units of course, and just decks that wants to hold or stack, and finally of course it stops LeBlanc making a duplicate, which is huge. So that's it for the Viktor list that I'm running at the moment. We can move on to the Master Yi list. So this is the most 2 results that I could find. On the left side you have the Sydney Regional Best of Master Yi, which is a very aggressive build actually. There is 11 turn 1 plays, and he also plays Arena's Greatest. So this is something that you can see in most of the Master Yi decks, is that they're very early focused and also late game focused, since they have the Master Yi champion unit. Their mid game is, you know, kind of just set, and that just allows them to build this way. And on the right side you have the winner of the Suju Regional, which is a more standard Master Yi list. I think something that's interesting to note in those lists is that there is very little not so fast, which means that the singularities in game 1 have potential value. It should be unfortunate if it gets not so fast, but there is only 1 in main, and on the winners list they are on the side. So keep in mind that singularity in 1 can be pretty valuable. So when it comes down to the Mulligan, against Master Yi we want to look of course for the Plundering Poro. It's a no-brainer. Wages of Pain is nice. Go over in the early game over all of the 2 drops that he can play. Kill the Weak is also very good to get rid of Master Yi champion unit or just a big ranger in the first couple turns, trying to slow him down, and we can maybe accumulate the points. Also, other cards that are very good in the matchup is of course when we go second, the Faithful Malefactor, that's just a classic. Hidden Blade is also very good against Ranger in particular, but any ambush unit really, even Vilemo. If the player is not careful enough, and you can kind of bait the Ranger as well, because it's usually Telegraph when he keeps like all of his runes open, but you can just come to the battlefield, he places Ranger, and you can immediately answer with Hidden Blade, and that's just pretty good. Also, you can eventually hide Hidden Blade to scare him off. So definitely a very good card in this matchup, just be able to remove a big threat, and even more so with Ranger. And Imperial Decree, of course, very good in this matchup to close the game out. Usually what we want to do is that we want to grab early points, hopefully go over small units with, I don't know, Stupefy, Wedges of Pain, and we put ourselves to like 4 points, then we can get 1 point on 5, 1 point on 6, and then we close the game with Imperial Decree, and there is nothing they can do basically. So that's the general game plan. So for the sideboard, we remove the salvage, so sure, they play Zonia, but Zonia is usually hidden, so you can't really get value out of the salvage. And I don't think I want to keep salvage even if I know they're playing Trinity Force. The card is like a 2-1 or 2 off in their deck, so is my salvage. There's very little chance I found the salvage when I need it, so I'll just rather cut it for more powerful cards. I remove a Bellow's Breath because Bellow's Breath is pretty weak into green. It just gets defied and it costs a lot, so I can get rid of one. And then I cut both singularities, since most of the deck runs Sabotage in Master Yi in the sideboard and they put it against us. There's not really a point keeping them, and some of the decks might play in Gilding Spirit, so another good reason to remove them. And we can put in the Riptide Rex, because sure, it gets not so fasted or in Gilding Spirit, but at least you have the 6-mile body, so you know, it's decent. It's also good against Master Yi to kill just a 2-drop on a battlefield, so you don't have to send like multiple units at it and trying to get rid of it. You can just get it to get your 5th point or 6th point like that. The Facebreakers have been really good to swing the tempo around. You can just keep it in hand. Same thing against Ranger, Trophy Hunter. If he tries to Ranger on your battlefield, you can just Facebreaker, they both stun. It goes back to base and you get to hold for free. Also just in general, even in the early game, if you want to deny Master Yi, just be able to take a battlefield for free. Same thing, you can just Facebreaker and just send him back to base. You can put him on the odd, I guess, scoring pattern, and we can cheat like some hold points with it. And of course the 30 Imperial Decree, since it's the card that we need to close the game. So pretty classic for the sideboard. And finally for the threats, I already mentioned some of the scars a bit, but Defy, I think the matchup revolves around Defy, mostly if he has it or if he doesn't. If Master Yi is sitting on like multiple Defies in early game, it's gonna be very difficult. But of course, like if he doesn't have it, it might just win the game on the spot. If you can, I don't know, clear his Scuttle Crab and then you just curl in early game, it doesn't have the Defy. I mean, the game is looking very good for you, you're mostly gonna take it. And also, I think Defy is a card that you can't really play around, because like sometimes you kinda need to make him have it. And as I said, that can literally win you the game on the spot. And if he has it, I don't think, you don't lose, like it's okay. You're still on the run. Of course, the new addition from Unleashed that's crazy for Master, it's the Ranger. As crazy as the card is, we have good tools in this deck to deal with Ranger. Is also usually Telegraph because we have Rockfall Path, so Ranger cannot be played on it. We have Facebreaker, Hidden Blade that can deal with him, so Master needs to be very careful when he uses the big cat. And of course the pump spell like On Guard, Discipline, mostly the reaction speed spell. You need to keep in mind that of course that if you're gonna Wedges of Pain, that Poro very likely is gonna play On Guard or Discipline, so if you have a Stupefy to follow up, trying to finish the unit off, or if you want to Riptide Rex, keep in mind that, you know, you don't get blown out too much if he has one of those pump spells. So that's pretty much it for the threats and the short guide. We can move on to the gameplay. Game 1 against Master Yi, we win the dice roll. Very nice. We're gonna get to go first. And for the Mulligan, we're gonna send back Bellow's Breath and Zin. Honestly, after looking, maybe we could have kept Zin because it's paired with Stupefy, and it's pretty good to go over his 2 drops. But since it's gonna be on the 3 runes than the 5 runes, he's usually gonna be able to keep a rune up, and that could be On Guard, so it's not as good. And Bellow's Breath is just not a very good card into the green matchup. For first turn, we're just gonna drop a token in the base and pass. It's gonna play a Scuttle Crab, which is very nice, because it's an easy unit to go over, since it's just 2 might, so anything kinda does it with the Stupefy that we have. We're gonna walk on Star Spring, mostly because usually Master doesn't really want to invest any pump spells to go to buff his crab to take a point. Usually it's just gonna go on the other battlefield. So we get to occupy his battlefield for free, and then we can retreat and take the one that's actually good for us, which is the Rockfall Path. When I play the Yordle and a token, you know, pretty standard turn. I think another thing that's interesting to see is that if he wants to play Discipline to somehow take over our units, that's when he cannot develop his champion unit. So he can put him on a weird path. So he's gonna go on Rockfall Path and take the 3 point. And he's just going to play his champion unit in his base and pass. So we get to hold, move to 2, which is very nice. We should have an easy clear onto the crab by just sending the Yordle and doing a Stupefy on it. And we can see if he wants to save it with a on guard mostly. Just gonna go through and we're gonna get the kill on the crab. We're gonna have to reveal our hand, but honestly it's no big deal. You can see that a Kill the Weak is probably coming. We get to hide everything and we can retreat from Star Spring, which is very important also. We don't want to leave a unit here for Rengar, Trophy Hunter to just come here and be able to catch up. Instead of that, we can just Kill the Weak, get rid of a token. Thankfully for us, it didn't have Defy. And now we are looking in a very strong spot because it doesn't have that many ways to accelerate units. And one of the ways that Mastery has to catch up with you is Rengar Trophy Hunter. But since the Yordle is sitting on Rockfall Path, it's pretty safe. So our opponent is just going to decide and play the crab and a God Angel. Time to set up his board. And we're looking very good, in a very good spot. We get another whole point. We're gonna be able to make a gold. Trying to get that on. We move to 5. And with Imperial Decree, honestly, like, it's all written how we're gonna win the game. He has only 1 unit on the board as well. So we just need like 1 cheeky whole point and we just win on Imperial Decree. I keep developing base to make sure we win on Imperial Decree, but honestly, like, I could have maybe kept like something up for Hidden Blade since we know it doesn't have Defy. But instead of that, just develop base to make sure that we win. Hesitate to retreat the Yordle or not, because one of the plays he could make is Rengar onto the Plundering Poru and then like a Discipline or something else. And honestly, I think that's fine by me, because if he wants to take over the Yordle with the Scuttle Crab, he needs to spend 2 punch spell, because he's probably not gonna put the God Angel in the Scuttle Crab. And instead of that, he's just gonna come on Star Spring and drop Vilmo, so he's gonna be able to send back his Scuttle Crab, and that's perfectly fine for us. That means we're gonna be able to hold 2-6 and just win on Imperial Decree, and the game is pretty easy from there. Just going to attach the Guardian Angel to Vilmo, of course, and pass. So we move to 6, and now all we have to do really is just drop units in our base and just pass. I'm going to play a Hidden Blade on the Vilmo, and I actually think that this is kind of bad, because we don't really do anything with that Hidden Blade, like killing Vilmo. If anything, it just draws 2 cards. And we're not even gonna move to 7 points because it's not very interesting. So luckily for us, he plays a Defy on it. But if I was Master Yi, I would have probably just let it go and just get the draw too. So in hindsight, like, that Hidden Blade is probably very bad, and we should keep it for the final turn. Now there is no reason to leave that Yordle on the battlefield. We can retreat it and move on. I mean, to be fair, we could have let that Yordle just because the Scuttle Crab still needs 2 pump spell to be able to go over it or punch first. But with Imperial Decree, the game is most likely won, so we can just drop everything in base and win off of that on the next turn. It's gonna move to 4. It's going to charm Viktor into his Vilmo. That's perfectly fine for us. We have so many units in base that there's not much that can happen. And it's going to pass, and we can just play the Imperial Decree and take the game. I was just waiting for an answer if he had any, but yeah, we're gonna move on to game 2. And as our go second battlefield, we're gonna pick the Treasure Hoard. Makes us able to curve a little bit better. And our opponent's gonna choose to go first, of course. A pretty funny Mulligan, since it doesn't happen that often to get 2 copies of 2 cards. So we can probably just safely remove the Faithful Manufacturer and the Stupefy. The Faithful Manufacturer is the best turn 1 for going second, so we're very happy to see it. Stupefy is just a card that recycles itself and can help us go over some of the small units in early game, so we don't hate it. Our opponent got a much better 2 drops with the Lonely Portal. It's gonna be able to take the Starship pick and play another one. He decided not to play the Mastery Champion unit, which is interesting. Maybe he's scared of Kill the Weak. And on our side, we're just gonna move to the Treasure Hoard, make a gold, make a token, and drop the Yordle. I should probably drop the Yordle first, but, you know, there was small changes that will actually change my play. Here I'm taking a bit to decide if I want to hide the Facebreaker or not. That could definitely be incorrect because I know that I'm gonna hide it. The idea with hiding a Facebreaker here is that I don't really have anything to retake battlefields. So I don't really want him to be able to have free access to the treasure hoard. Because that might just be locked out of the battlefields and not be able to overtake them, since I don't really have much in my hand. So if he drops Ranger, I can eventually stun him. The truth is that he's just gonna push with the Lonely Power every day. And I decide not to stun it, to be able to play around Ranger. So the good thing in this scenario is that since we trade, he cannot play Ranger on the treasure hoard, and I get the battlefield most likely free for next turn. The worst thing is that I basically lose on card advantage. But it allows me to try to keep the tempo up and make sure that I can conquer next turn. Of course, if he has Ranger, he could keep Ranger up and see what I'm doing, but he gets hardly punished if I get a Hidden Blade. Our opponent is just gonna develop a first mate in his base and pass. So our hand is not looking too hot. I mean, we can conquer on treasure hoard. Card is not great, so I'm gonna just start with Stupefy, trying to see what we can get. If I can get the Wedges of Pain or a Zinzao, for example, could be decent. But I don't find anything. I get a Hidden Blade. I can just go on treasure hoard and make a gold eventually and play Viktor. And I think that's what I'm doing. So I conquer treasure hoard to move to 2. And here I hesitate with making a recruit or making a gold. And I guess I didn't play. I played maybe a bit too fast. Because I'm actually gonna move up the Lecturing Yodel to the battlefield to make first mate not get the free conquer. Since I'm also developing Viktor, I can get the recruit back from the Lecturing Yodel. But in hindsight, since I have Imperial Decree as well, I should definitely not make that gold and make an extra token. Just because of Imperial Decree. One of the reasons why I also made that gold is because the hand is very power hungry. But I think since we have Imperial Decree, we should definitely make a token. So our opponent here actually gives himself an extra point, which is not going to matter this game, but it's very important to always track your opponent's score. Because I didn't catch it on the moment, but you basically get second point for holding when you already took it. So he's gonna develop Ranger on the battlefield. And a Discipline on it. I'm not exactly sure why he wants to play a Discipline on his Ranger. Maybe he's fishing for a 2-drop or anything else. But regardless, we can just let it go. We get an extra recruit and he's gonna charm Viktor. And now we're not looking too good in the spot that we're currently in. He has battlefield. He has both battlefield, a unit in his base, and we're only sitting on 2 recruits. So the game looks very tough. He's going to hide most likely a Zonia onto Rengar's battlefield to protect him. And he's also going to retreat his Poro. I'm not sure that was the right play for him to retreat it and give us free access to the battlefield, but we definitely take it. Also, maybe one of the reasons why he retreats the Poro is because he doesn't have anything to protect it, so maybe he's worried about a removal. So we're gonna get the free conquer, and in the spot that we're currently in, I don't necessarily want to Hidden Blade because he's low on cards, and since he retreated his Poro, I assume that he doesn't have anything to protect his Ranger. And I also accept the fact that if he has a punch first, then I just lose the game. But I'm too far behind, so I gotta try to catch up. I get to play the Watcher. Move to 4, and I'm gonna hide the Hidden Blade. So if he wants to push with Ranger, I can maybe try to kill him. But we're definitely not in the ideal spots. So he just drew the On Guard. And he's gonna play it on his Ranger, making it 8 might. And out of the 8 might, he's gonna make good use of it and play the challenge on our Watcher, which is gonna reveal the Hidden Blade to draw 2 cards. Not really what you wanna do, but we're gonna get those 2 cards. Hopefully we'll find something that's nice. We do get the Bellow's Breath with the Imperial Decree combo, which hopefully is gonna get through since we're so far behind. But also he hasn't drew much, so it's definitely not impossible. He moves to 7 or 6 if we remove the points that was on top of it. And we're gonna play the Imperial Decree and probably gonna drop the Bellow's Breath. And same thing, if he has a Defy, we accept that we lose the game, we're too far behind anyway. Something that's important is that we of course kill the Poro last, because in case he just draws the Defy, that'll suck. So we kill the Poro last. And we have luckily enough runes to be able to play the token. And we full wipe him, and it's not impossible that Master Yi could break and not have any units. We're not in a horrible spot, because we have 2 Kill the Week, and now they're gonna be very important. Because if he develops 1 mid-sized unit, we can just go to a battlefield and then kill the Week. And we also have the Sprite Fontaine that allows us to catch up and move to 6. And we even get the seconds in. So I'm gonna start moving with the Recruit first. Mostly because if there is Ranger Trophy Hunter, I can just kill the Week and kill it. Even though I don't think it's the best spot for him to play it, since it will only get a draw out of the Ranger. But yeah, I'm gonna move to the Treasure Hoard, so that's fine. I'm gonna make a gold, since I can make a gold made a token. Eventually play Kill the Week if needed. And I can move the Sprite on the other battlefield. And now I can just make the token and pass. The good thing is that we get 2 up. In case he, I don't know, double Rangers, we could maybe bait the Hidden Blade. But I think if he has double Ranger, he probably just drops it anyway. But instead of that, he's just gonna play a Discipline on our token. Probably still fishing for a unit. And actually quite incredibly, he's not gonna get any units and we're gonna take the game too. That's it for the video. I hope that you guys learned a thing or two. If you did, don't hesitate to drop a comment or a like. And until then, you guys take care and we'll see each other in the next one. Bye bye.